to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake.
Hello Manchies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ino Manchidi. If you're new to this channel, please do click that red subscribe button to be a part of us. We are the Essential Manchies, the I Am Gang. If you're returning, thank you so much for being a loyal, loving and supportive Manchie. You know I love and appreciate you so much. So as you can see by the title, today we have a bit of a different video. We're going to be talking all things acting agencies, right? So this is a question that I get quite a bit in my DMs, even in the comment section sometimes. So I hope that this video will be helpful to one or two people, right? So a disclaimer before I get started, I have never been under an agency. That's why it took me so long to film this video, because I did not have the answers readily available. I had to go do research, so I went to speak to agencies. I went to speak to people that are under agencies, that have been under agencies, because I wanted to come here with accurate and correct information as someone who has also never been under an agency. I didn't just want to come here and just tell you what I think or what I've picked up in the street. I actually went in and spoke to people that have directly dealt with agencies or people that are running agencies, and also just a bit of Google here and there. I'll tell you guys where to go when you guys are Googling in the conversation that we're about to have. So I hope that this video will be helpful to one or two people, and I hope that if you're probably one of those people that are not necessarily interested in this kind of conversation or this industry, you can just like the video. You can let it play in the background, or you can just like and say, hi, I'm a Manchie, I'm here, I'm not interested, but I'm here anyway. I don't know, but be nice. Alrighty guys, let's get into it. So I have some questions down here that I'm going to be looking at so that I can answer them most frequently asked questions with regards to agencies, right? So the first question is, okay, so firstly, the general question that I get is, how do I get into acting? So that is a very broad question with a very broad answer, because I can tell you that you get into acting by going to acting school. I can tell you that you get into acting by going to auditions. I can tell you that you get into acting by going and joining an agency. So there's many different ways in which you can get into acting. You can get into acting through doing some community theater. That's acting. You've gotten into acting by that. So there's different ways, but it's a lot easier when you are under an agency, because the role of an agency is to get you jobs. It's to get you auditions and send you to auditions, and you will possibly land a job from there. It's very hard for you as an individual to just, know exactly where to go, because usually production companies, for example, I'll use Mobango throughout because that is my safe space and I don't want to be naming people's productions. For example, if Mobango is looking for a certain character called Rendani, they will give an agency, or rather they will give agencies a brief of the kind of person they're looking for, and agencies will then send those people, right? That's basically how it works. So agencies are useful in that manner, that you don't have to necessarily go out and go look for the auditions yourself, because most times you will be unsuccessful unless if there was a call for people to come and audition, which is what we call open auditions, which are quite rare these days, but there are some. However, it is quite rare to find open auditions nowadays. So we're going to get into the questions now. The first question is, what are the requirements of joining an agency? So different agencies have different requirements. There's agencies that just want you to come, submit your profile, and you are automatically part of the agency. There's agencies that require you to have studied acting or have a background in acting, right? So even if you haven't studied maybe acting, but you have been in the industry professionally for a certain amount of years, then they'll accept you. But from what I have been researching, they would want you to either be coming from a higher learning institution, so either after your vets, like all these universities that offer acting as a qualification, right? So if you are not necessarily qualified academically, so then they would require you to have been professionally in the industry for a certain amount of years. And there are agencies that just say, we need you to have done something. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be professional. I made an example of community theater earlier on. So it could be community theater. It could be literally whatever it is that has given you some sort of experience in terms of acting, right? Where and how do you find reputable agencies? So a friend of mine that I spoke to about agencies directed me to the PMA. So the PMA is the Personal Managers Association, if I'm not mistaken, and they are like a regulatory board, if I'm not mistaken, for agencies. So every agency that you will find, just Google them, www.thepma.co.za. When you Google them, a long list of agencies, South African agencies, is going to come up. Different agencies that are based in different provinces are going to come up, and these are agencies that you are sure that they are legit. It's not bogus people that are taking chances and trying to scam people. And if you go to the PMA, you can find different types of agencies, those that are looking for qualified people, those that are okay with starting you from the bottom, those that are okay with you coming with absolutely no qualification, just raw talent or the passion. By the way, you need to have both, right? And all that jazz, basically. So the PMA, go to www.thepma.co.za. I'll put on the screen in case I'm saying it wrong. Another way you can find reputable agencies is through word of mouth. You will have to talk to people. Hopefully people are willing to share this kind of information, because not every single agency is under the PMA, and it does not mean that if it's not under the PMA it's necessarily bogus or fly by night. However, the ones on the PMA, you can definitely rest assured that those ones are not bogus, they're not dodgy, they're not, you are sure that this is the real deal. But you can also ask around, you can talk to people, you can Google, even though I feel like Google is a bit risky, because when you Google, then a whole lot of things come up, and sometimes you find yourself in very dodgy agencies that will be wanting money out of you and all those things that we'll still talk about. But the best way for me right now, which I think that is the safest at the moment, for someone like me who is not under an agency, and if one day I decide to join an agency, because I wouldn't know where to go and who to talk to, the best thing that I would probably do is probably go to the PMA, because that's where I am definitely sure, unless if I can speak to certain people who are under agencies that are not under the PMA, and I can see that there's work that's been done there, and then I can join from there or start making my inquiries from there, right? Next question. Is there a joining fee when joining an agency? No, there shouldn't be a joining fee when joining an agency, and I think it just makes sense, guys. I think it really just makes sense. If an agency ever wants a certain amount from you before they get you work, just know that dodgy weird vibes, something is wrong, conte of konalapo. So definitely you do not have to pay a single amount for you to join an agency. The next question is, how much does the agency take from my payments? So different agencies take different percentages. So you'll find an agency that takes typically 15%, 20%. However, I've heard of cases where agencies take 10% and 25%. Those are the unusual cases, but I have heard of people that say their agencies take 10% or 25%. However, the most common one will be 15% or 20%. However, I think you can negotiate, you can have conversations, and you guys can talk about it and see where you guys find common ground. However, if it is their standard and it's how they work, then I think you would just have to accept it as it is. The next question is, what happens when I'm in an agency but they don't send me to auditions? So in terms of joining an agency, you can join an agency today and land a job or an audition the same week, or you can join them today and land an audition in the next year. Okay, that's me just being extreme, but I'm just trying to show you that it all depends on the brief that has been requested. Because if the agency is receiving briefs from production companies that are requiring something that is totally different from you, it's pretty pointless for them to send you to auditions. My memory card just got full. I just had to sort that out. But I was still saying that I have heard that there's agencies that have their people Don't know how true that is, but I've heard that there's agencies that will have favorites within the agency, and they will send only certain people to auditions, or they will send briefs to certain people. And there's people that have been in the same agencies for many years and have never landed a single brief, but there are certain people within the agency that will be going for every single casting. Don't know how true that is. Don't know. Never been under an agency. It's what I heard. So like I said, guys, I'm just telling you guys information that I've gathered from people that are in agencies, from people that run agencies, and from the information I just gathered generally, right? So the question about this was, what happens when an agency doesn't send you to auditions? So basically, I would encourage that patience. I would encourage that you are patient and you wait for your turn, because a whole lot of different briefs come out. I know with Mobango, there are character briefs for a whole lot of different characters, different ages, different characters, different ages, different complexions, different height, different weight. It's different. It's always versatile, and I believe that yours will come. And if the agency is honest and does things truthfully, then you will definitely land your brief, and hopefully you'll land your dream job as well, right? Can I find my own gigs without the agency finding them for me? In such a case, does the agency still take a percentage from my pay? Okay, so the moment you want an agency to represent you, it does not matter whether you found your own gig or how it happened, but the moment you want them to get involved, which is very wise if you have an agency, to have your agency get involved in having conversations with the production that you're about to work for, be it a commercial, be it a theater production, be it a TV production, whatever the case, it would be wise, especially if you're new in the industry, it would be wise for you to have your agency going to represent you when you are negotiating your fees, your working conditions, etc. However, yes, you may get yourself, so it works differently. You may get yourself gigs. You know, sometimes it happens that you can hear about a gig that your agency might have not heard about, which I think is a very, very rare occurrence. But just in case something like that happens, maybe a friend just, bites your ear. Is that correct English? I know that in African we can say like someone told you something, like hush hush. So I don't know if bite your ear actually exists in English, but what I'm saying is that if somebody probably just told you about a briefing, an audition, and you basically find that gig yourself, it's either you can tell your agency, send it to your agency, and then your agency will tell you to go for it, and they will then monitor the process for you. Or then there's other agencies that allow you that if you found the gig yourself, it's fine, you can keep it to yourself, but we are not getting involved as the agency. You will do your negotiating yourself. If you've got any production, if you've got any problems in the production while you are working, let's say after the casting, after you've been casted and you are having problems, then you can't come to us and say, we must come and speak for you or represent you. So agencies are there to represent you, to negotiate your salary or your rates, to talk about your working conditions and how you prefer to work. I know there's people whose agencies will come and say, my talent is not going to be shooting more than however many scenes a day, or my talent is not going to be shooting on weekends. Those kind of things, depending on also what the kind of contract you're getting from the production. Because if you're getting a certain kind of contract, there's certain kind of contracts that you are, whether you like it or not, if the production shoots Monday to Friday, you are required to be there Monday to Friday, or Monday to Saturday, you're required. So your agent can't come and say, my client does not shoot on a Saturday, when you are part of, let's say, the main cast and you are required to be there every single day, unless if you happen to just get a day off from the production. However, you're not entitled to it necessarily because your contract requires you to be there. So there's different kinds of contracts, and those are the conversations that your agent will then have with the production team. So the next question is, oh, okay, sorry, I didn't answer the second part of that question about finding your own gigs. The second part says, in such a case, does the agency still take a percentage from my pay? So the agency will not take a certain percentage if you have requested that they don't represent you in that particular gig. However, if you want them to take over, then of course they will, because they are still going to be doing the work of representing you. Even though they did not get you the gig, they are still going to be the ones that are going to be negotiating your increase, your rate, or your salary, if it's a salary, those kind of things. So depending on what your agreement is and what your conversation is with your agent, then you guys can decide whether you are taking the whole gig for yourself, or whether they are still going to jump on and carry on representing you as the gig goes. Right? Maybe you can negotiate, guys. Maybe you can have a conversation with them if you happen to find yourself a gig, and you can say, maybe for the first month, can I take the full amount without you guys taking your percentage? Because, you know, finder's fee is mine type of thing. I don't know, guys. I'm really just telling you what I think at this point. But then basically, yes, you can find your own gigs. You can let them hop on if that's your conversation, or you can take the gig and deal with everything on your own if that's the conversation or that's the agreement with them. So second last question says, can I be in more than one agency? So if you are under the PMA agencies, you can't be in more than one agency, right? But there are other agencies that allow you to be in more than one agency, because sometimes you find that an agent deals with specifically commercials, for instance, or you find that this one deals specifically with television soapies or television productions, or sometimes you find that it's one agency that does everything, right? So in that case, then if you are under two agencies, let's say agency A gives you a Mobango brief and agency B gives you a Mobango brief. So they give you a brief for the same production, for the same character, and here you are busy playing them this side and this side, and now you want to go to this audition, but when you go there, who is going to be representing you? Should you get the role, who is going to be representing you? So do you understand that it's going to get very complicated, but also you're going to be in breach of contract? But there are other agencies that do allow you. They'll tell you that we deal specifically with commercials, and we don't necessarily do TV productions, like not TV productions necessarily, because commercials can be TV productions, but let's say soapies or telenovelas and series and stuff like that. So in that case, then maybe they can say you can find yourself an acting agency as well, or an agency that deals with that. But generally, no, you can't, unless there are exceptions in your guys' conversation. And the last question says, can I leave an agency at any given time? So when you join an agency, there's going to be a contract between you and the agency. In the contract, it's either going to be, let's say, a year or 24 months, or however long you guys agree on. And obviously, just like any other contract, you can't just up and leave. You're basically going to have to see it through. Otherwise, then there'll obviously be legal implications, unless if they are like extreme cases that lead you to having to leave right now. And you know, but also, guys, it's important for you to read and be very careful before you sign legal documents. I've learned the hard way, not with agencies, with my other story that I've shared with you guys on the channel. So be careful, guys. Don't just get excited and just sign on the dotted line, because it can get risky. You can find yourself binding yourself into something that you probably can't get out of, and it gets very tricky along the way. So just be careful. Make sure that their terms suit you as well. Make sure that you're not getting into, like, personally, I feel like something like an agency should be at least a short term or short to medium term kind of contract, because I don't know, guys, I don't know if I would be comfortable getting into a 3 or 5 year contract with an agency. Because what happens then, I find that it's one of those agencies that I mentioned earlier, where, like, I've heard that there's people that they send specifically, and sometimes you'll be in the agency for years and they haven't given you any work, or they haven't sent you for any auditions and stuff like that, and you find that you have signed a whole 3 year or 5 year contract with them. So yeah guys, just read, make sure that whatever they're giving you is okay with you, and you can also benefit in some way, and you can also you're also protected one way or the other, right? So I think I have pretty much covered everything, guys. If there's anything else that you guys would like me to touch on that I didn't, do feel free to comment down below. I will do further research. I will talk to people if I don't have the answers readily available. But I think these were the most common questions that I kept getting, and I decided to put them together and just create this video. I hope that this video was helpful to you and you and you that was asking, and I hope that you guys will, even if you happen to just watch this video because you're just a munchie and you're like, listen, I'm just going to support the fellow munchie. Thank you so much. Please do like, do comment, do subscribe. I love you guys so much. And to all of you guys that are trying to get into the acting industry, all the best, guys. I feel that there's space for all of us. The loaf is big enough for all of us. I believe in opening up the industry. I believe in sharing information. I believe in not dimming somebody's light so that yours can be brighter. You know, there's a saying that goes, a candle does not lose its flame, something like that. A candle does not lose its light or its flame by lighting another candle. So you know how you can switch on another candle like this? This candle will remain on as well. So you imparting knowledge on the next person or giving information will not take anything from you. So if there's anything else I can help with, guys, when it comes to this, I'm more than willing. I am more than willing, because I believe that the cake is big enough for all of us, guys. Did I say the loaf earlier on? I don't know what the correct saying is, but whatever. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.